As a disclaimer, yes, I know this video isn't perfect. Yes, I know some of it is filmed horizontally and some of it is vertically. This is my first try at doing this, and it'll only get better from here. So if you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know too. And we'll go from there. Enjoy. Coasters and more. I was going to wait until mask mandates were done, but as you can see, icebreakers going behind me testing. And I thought this is a pretty cool place to start. The new coaster, probably the newest coaster of the season. We'll see if it beats Velocicoaster. They're constantly testing it today, no riders, so hopefully they at least have a soft open soon. I'm at Seaworld Orlando, and my goal with this channel is to do more than just Universal, Disney, and include a little bit of SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and wherever else I decide to go. Orlando is home now, so this is basically my home park, one of the 9 home parks I have. So I'll be showing you some new stuff and just my opinions of what's going on at the theme parks around Orlando. Like I said, I travel too for theme parks, so hopefully you'll see more. I want to eventually do a Pennsylvania trip. I like pretty much all coasters. So this is a very rough start. Not going to really do any editing, just going to put it up as it is. So we'll see how it goes. And surprisingly, they're still not running their paddle boats. I say it's surprising because it's actually an upcharge. They charge $5. It is also the 7 Seas Festival right now. This goes on for the next several weeks. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have concerts on Saturday and Sundays every week. Live concerts, only in Florida. Maybe in Texas now too. This you can buy a lanyard. You can get 15 items for $75, and that includes beverages, food, beer or wine. So it's a pretty good deal. You can get 10 items for $60 or 15 for $75. Not indulging today because I'm going to Busch Gardens tomorrow for their food and wine festival. Very similar. They're going to have the lanyards too. But I am going to the Parmalee concert there tomorrow. So that should be fun as well. But, interesting that they have an entirely vegan section here. And also one right across the hall that is not. These prawns look pretty good though. Traditionally, SeaWorld has better food than Busch Gardens for these events. One cool thing about SeaWorld is that they do have pretty good merchandise. Like these swimming trunks I'm actually thinking about buying. And they are only $30. But the cool thing is, right now with pass holder discount, you actually get 50% off if you're a Platinum Pass member. So it makes pretty much everything in the store a really good deal, including, now that doesn't include food and beverage, but it apparently does the refillable beverages. And I was just told by a crew member that these also work at Busch Gardens. So for $7.50 as a pass holder, You get 99-cent refills every time you go to either park. Almost definitely going to buy one. Just hopefully I can find some that look a little better than these. These are kind of nice that they have the lock and seal on them. Not bad. And they have the ice chiller in them too, which is pretty cool. Anything beats paying $4.50 for a bottle of soda. And from what I understand, these larger cups, much larger actually, the comparison, double the size, they are also 99-cent refills. And they are about $18, so it means with pass holder discount, $9. That's actually really not bad. I was talking about, they actually have good merchandise. They even have an Under Armour section here, and their prices are comparable to regular Under Armour stuff, and you get 50% off of that too. You can get an Under Armour pullover for 35 bucks. That's not bad. As badly as I would like to ride Infinity Falls, it is one of my favorite rides at the park and one of my favorite water rides anywhere. I did not bring my waterproof phone case, and I don't feel like buying another one. This ride will get you drenched, and it is, even though it's early March, 80+ degrees here. So it would actually be a pretty nice day to ride. It's just, I don't want to pay for a locker, and I don't have my phone case. Plus, it's actually, because it's a hot day in Florida, 45-minute wait. So I don't want to do that either. But this ride does have lockers. It's one of the only rides here at SeaWorld that does not have a spot on the other side, a bin, to put your stuff unsecured, because they know that you're not going to want to bring it on and get it wet. But again, if you bring that waterproof case, it's actually pretty good. I do like that they named their rafts. I don't know if you can see this, but got Rafty McRaft Face here. That's my favorite name I've seen. So I'll ride that when it gets warmer. I've been living in warm weather long enough that 80 is really, it's not even hot. One thing I really like about this ride, forget the big drop. The drop is cool, but it's not even as thrilling as a lot of these rapids. It's got some of the best, if not the best, rapid simulations I have seen anywhere. The bad thing right now with COVID regulations is that when I'm here by myself, or even if I am here with my girlfriend and riding by myself, you get the whole raft to yourself, so it doesn't really move as naturally as you would like it to. It is still a lot of fun though. Another Seven Seas food festival spot, the Brazilian market. They have Brazilian picanha steak and pau de queijo. I don't know how to say it, but it's Brazilian cheese bread and yuca bites. Actually sound really good. So yeah, you can see here all the different spots by the numbers that they're doing different food options and drink options. Like here at Brazil, you can also get a frozen caipirinha, which I've never heard of doing it frozen. It's interesting. I know I don't like frozen mojitos, so don't think I would get it, but the food actually looks really good. And even if you're not getting one of the lanyard passes, I mean, $9 for a steak entree is not bad. They are pretty small, but it looks like $9 worth of steak. For whatever reason, in all these Florida theme parks, they have relaxation zones where you don't have to wear your mask. I call them virus transmission zones because they are literally the same as right outside. Masks must be worn over there, but not right here. I don't get the difference, but okay. So it's actually through May 9th that they're having this festival every weekend. This food looks really good. Got croquette? Yeah. Yeah, Sesame Land. Basically, just keep following this, and then after the Orca show, you'll take a left.
Making any turns, going straight
after the Orca show, you'll take a left.
Okay.
But you'll kind of see it. There's that bright orange roller coaster, the new one. It's underneath that, basically. See, the food looks really good. Maybe the best I've seen on one of these festival menus. The lamb chop looks amazing. Probably can't see it on here, but currently a 40-minute wait for Mako. Which isn't the worst. Not that I usually like to wait, but it is my favorite coaster. I will say, I don't think it's actually going to be 40 minutes. So I've noticed they're actually running 2 trains today, which is unusual this winter. And the line is not backed up at all. I mean, I'm gonna guess 20 minutes or less. I'm gonna start the timer as soon as I hit the line, but right now we're just walking. So I can finally see the end. Yeah, I'm guessing this is 20-ish minutes. What kind of time it is to see? One of the few rides at SeaWorld that has somewhat of a theme. And even some entertainment just in the form of zoological knowledge in the line. And a nice little original score or two. Give you some facts you might not have known. Gives you something to do while you wait, you know, before everyone had cell phones. So this ride was built in 2017, so everyone already had cell phones. But cool that they did it anyway. Funny enough, I got off the ride and it was 20 minutes after riding, so I was right about the wait time being off. Funny thing is now, it actually says 20 minutes. They are running fast. It said on their train station that they're dispatching 28 trains an hour, which is just over 2 minutes per train. That's pretty good, especially since this one carries a lot of people. One of my favorite things about here compared to Busch Gardens, and it's interesting because they're both the same company. They're both owned by Busch Gardens, but Busch Gardens says that due to COVID, item bins on coasters are dangerous and they can't use them. So it's interesting that here at their sister park at SeaWorld, they have bins on the other side of every coaster. I actually lost my phone last time I went to Busch Gardens because they didn't have anywhere for me to put it. I know it's technically my fault because it's in my pocket. It should have been a locker, but here they don't try to force you into lockers. They don't even have lockers by all the rides. So I just find that very intriguing that it's the same company, 2 parks an hour away, yet different policies. So this is different. They've got a shark tunnel open today and a crew member only area. I guess maybe it's the same shark tunnel as usual, just a different way to get in. It's really interesting. Honestly, the aquarium attractions at SeaWorld like this rival the aquariums that you pay to go to just to do this. Yeah, SeaWorld's more expensive, but season pass here actually provides a really good deal. Like I was saying, you get half off of all the merchandise right now, which that's not normal, but they got it going on right now. You always get 20% off of food and beverage. And then there's a lot of special events they have here, you know, concerts and festivals, and they're all free once you have that season pass. So it's kind of nice. Like tomorrow, I'm just going to a free concert. So, and the annual passes don't even cost. I mean, they're in the 300 range. But that's for the entire Busch Gardens chain. It includes bring a friend pass. It includes parking. Parking alone's $30 at this park. So, anyway, you can get out of parking. Even getting a round trip Uber is usually cheaper than getting parking here. So yeah, I guess they just have a different entrance and exit point right now to the Shark Tank, which is interesting. Actually, the exit's the same. Entrance is different. Definitely a state-of-the-art shark attraction. I do also want to mention that the drink list here actually really good. $14 a drink in Orlando in a tourist destination is not bad, especially because the season pass discount actually works on cocktails too, which is not how it works at Universal and Disney. So that $14 drink comes down to about $14 including your tip. That's not bad. They do accept tips at the bar though, so make sure you do that. Another aquarium attraction here. I often tell people when they ask if it's worth it, I often tell people SeaWorld is one of the best aquariums in the world, combined with they have a few really, really awesome coasters, including my favorite one in the world. They've got a couple great water rides and a good kids section. So I think SeaWorld provides just as much value as the other Orlando parks, probably more because it's usually cheaper. The gate price is kind of high, but you can find discounts on SeaWorld a lot more often. One of the promotions they often run is you get free food when you buy a full price ticket, all day dining, or they'll do, you know, kids come free with adults. So keep a lookout for discounts because they do come often for SeaWorld and they don't for the other Orlando parks unless you're a Florida resident. SeaWorld also has several combo tickets that you can get. SeaWorld, Aquatica, Busch Gardens, and even Discovery Cove, which is one of the best places on Earth. Discovery Cove is right across the street from here. It's basically an all-inclusive day resort. And a lot of the time they run specials that you can get SeaWorld and Busch Gardens for just like maybe $20 or $30 in addition to the cost of Discovery Cove. So again, there's a lot of value in SeaWorld, especially if you want a 3 or 4 day trip like that. You know, have one day at each park. It's a really good deal. And there's a lot more kid-friendly stuff at SeaWorld than at Universal for sure. It's also really easy to travel between SeaWorld, Aquatica, and Discovery Cove. You could go to SeaWorld and Aquatica in the same day. Just go back and forth if you wanted to. They're not walking distance, but they are right across the street from each other. They're very easy to get back and forth. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask somebody if your parking at one covers the parking at the other. I would assume so, but we'll see. A separate video of the different food options and drink options for all of the festival. But they really have a lot of good deals. They're not all frozen drinks this time, which is nice. Matza margarita sounds good. You got Milagro, blueberry syrup, pineapple, and citrus. The other thing about SeaWorld is it is just It's really a pretty park. They keep it very clean. It's underrated how clean and beautiful SeaWorld Parks is, even in comparison to Universal. Universal overkills on theming, which isn't a bad thing, it's a great thing. Here, there's not as much theming so much as just good upkeep and really just looking nice and revolving a lot around the big lake in the middle. It invites a lot of wild birds, and it really just makes you want to come. And the fact that you can see Mako from almost everywhere in the park, including, it's one of the few rides in Orlando you can see from outside of the park at almost any angle. So that's really cool as well. Just makes me want to go back on it again. So I just learned that the pass holder special for the lanyards this year is you get, instead of 15 for the same price, for $75, you get 18 punches. But the unfortunate thing is you have to get it either online or at the Welcome Center, so I can't buy it where the other lanyards are sold. But it comes out to only $4.16 per item, which most of them go for $8 to $10, $8 to $12. So it's definitely worth going to the front for. Definitely not my cup of tea, but like I was saying, they have high-end brands here. Simply Southern's a pretty high-end brand, and again, it's half off the prices, and they are very normal prices. I mean, $27 for one of their t-shirts, that's how much they are everywhere. So I really think they do a good job at taking care of season pass holders, especially this year. Continuing in here, they have a big Salt Life section, Reef and Tiva shoes. So this is basically the guys' coastal store. I mean, like flip-flops, $30 to $35. Really good prices for a theme park. So I went ahead and bought the 18 puncher. Comes with a little booklet that tells you all your food options. Just because I know I'll use it eventually. You don't have to use it all in one go, and you can share it. So it's good for, you know, you can bring 3 or 4 people, and all of you basically can eat and drink for $75. Normally it's 15 punches, but when you're a season pass holder, they give you 18. I also discovered, because I just went and bought some stuff at a store, I discovered that the 50% off is only supposed to be for the Florida residents, or for the Florida passes, Florida-based passes, and mine is San Diego-based. Long story short, I bought it, never got to go, so I consider this my home park. But they had a manager actually give me the discount anyway, so I guess you're not supposed to get it, but they're lenient about it. My personal favorite, and I can never really tell anybody why, I really don't know, but I love flamingos. They're so unique and different. They're not like any other animal. And they always seem to be getting in fights. It's like a hockey game or NASCAR. You watch until you hope for a fight. Here's my second favorite coaster in SeaWorld, Manta. This is a flying coaster, and B&M flying coaster. Pretty much everything here is B&M, all 3 of the major coasters. So they all hold up pretty well. There it is going up the hill now. So you lay down on this one on your stomach. Do not ride this right after you eat. I'm gonna ride this right before I eat. and this ride is all about forces. I do plan on doing a tour of the coasters here at SeaWorld, but I'm trying to wait until they open the new one, Icebreaker. And do the same thing at Tampa after they open Iron Gwazi, and the same thing at Islands of Adventure once they open Velocicoaster. I'll probably do Universal all in one video. Would do Disney as well, but since I've lived here, Disney has not sold annual passes. So, I am going on the Florida resident deal right now, but I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to film anything. But once I get annual passes, I plan on doing that as well. But there are a lot of people that do Disney and Universal videos, and I plan on focusing mostly on the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens parks here. But I will definitely have some content from the other Florida parks as well. And right now, only a 15-minute wait time for Manta, which is extremely good. Today is a Friday, which actually Fridays here in Orlando are usually really slow at the theme parks. People tend to get here on Fridays. Disney Springs gets really busy. City Walk's really busy at night. But the parks are not. And tomorrow is the official start of spring break season in Orlando. Apparently they have a virtual ticket booth now, which is pretty cool. Looks like you can maybe buy Express Pass. Yeah, you can buy the quick queues here. Today's is $40, which is ridiculous because it's not even busy. Buy all-day dining, animal tours, reprint your pass, buy tickets, except not right now. And you can reserve seating at the shows for $30. Honestly, if you're riding anything, $40 for this quick queue plus the show seating, it's only an extra $10 over just the shows. That's interesting. But yeah, it looks like you can just buy it and pay right here, prints out your tickets at the bottom. This is new, I haven't seen this before. All right, I'm gonna go on Manta now. I've actually never noticed they have an entire pelican exhibit. I've been to this park at least 9 or 10 times and never noticed the pelicans. I actually really like pelicans, so interesting. Tell you what, you really do need a lot of energy to ride this one. It makes me nauseous every time, but I love it anyway. Really, the worst part is when it's slow operations like it was today. You're just hanging upside down, waiting and waiting and waiting for them to bring you up. The ride itself is super intense, and there is a right and wrong way. Everyone says if you don't get the front row, it's not that great, but that's because they're looking forward. If you just look down, you don't see track, you don't see what's coming, you don't see the seat in front of you. You just see near miss after near miss, piles of trees. You get splashed with the waterfall out of nowhere. You think you're gonna crash and hit something. It's a pretty incredible feeling. It really does simulate flying as good as any ride. I'd say Tatsu at Magic Mountain in California is just a tiny bit above it, only because it is literally on top of a mountain and you get that view down on the entire park. But here you're over water for like half of the ride, go through a waterfall, and the layout is just amazing. This is another really cool thing that SeaWorld Orlando does. And I know they didn't have this in San Antonio when I went, which has been a few months, but they didn't have this because I ended up finding a Coke machine that was plugged into an outlet. These actually have USBs built in and everything, so as long as you bring your cord, you have a place to charge your phone. They've got a couple of them throughout the park, actually. And it looks like Atlantis is actually running today. That is hit or miss. Is officially too cold and too dark to ride. Not a great ride anyway, let's be honest. It used to be until they de-themed it. It's still a nice ride. If you've never been on it, it's pretty good. It's a cool like dark ride, roller coaster, water ride, all in one. And there's an aquarium in the gift shop, which is cool. If it is a hot day and the line is less than, I don't know, an hour, it's worth riding. If it's not a hot day, you don't want to get on because you will get wet. Not as wet as Infinity Falls. It's also not as good of a ride. Infinity Falls is almost worth riding even on a not hot day and then just get in the family dryer. I've never done that, but that's because I live here. It is literally okay with me to come and ride 1 or 2 rides, have a bite to eat, and go home. It's so nice living in Orlando. I never thought I would be able to live somewhere where I could do that. I've never been somewhere where I have a home park. Before here I lived in Vegas and my home park was Six Flags, and that was 4 hours away if there was no traffic. So there was no just midday trip to Six Flags. And today I'm literally doing this. I mean, I've been here maybe 3 or 4 hours. I'll be here a little while longer and then I'm gonna go to work. So it's actually a really cool opportunity to live here. I thought I would be underwhelmed with Florida theme parks too, to be honest. But even without Disney, because I haven't had that annual pass, with Busch Gardens, Seaworld, both Universal parks, that is a lot to do, especially because Seaworld is almost always running a festival. Busch Gardens runs a lot of festivals. Right now, Universal has Mardi Gras. Even since I moved here, well, at least since the start of the pandemic, Universal has opened a new show in the Bourne Stunt Show. So Florida is very much open and alive and outside of the masks, which SeaWorld doesn't even care too much about. They don't mind nearly as much as Universal, and they don't force you to wear hand sanitizer, which I appreciate. I appreciate the lack of COVID rules here. But can't wait for the masks to come off too. But other than the masks, it feels very much normal here. And on the weekends, it is just as busy as it would be. So I am actually pretty excited for this. I've only been on Kraken twice ever because it is closed often. And I haven't ridden many night rides at all in SeaWorld because since pandemic times, they close at 5 or 6 o'clock most days. So today, I'm actually gonna get my first ever Kraken night ride. And I think it'll be a pretty cool ride at night. And right now, the wait time says 25 minutes. Once I get behind people in the line, I'll start the timer and see how long it actually is. Lines have been moving pretty quickly today. Really not sure why they even bothered with theming on this one. I mean, it's very mild theming. Kinda like a submarine with movie theater posters. Really kind of corny. They could have just painted it blue and been done. I'm gonna go ahead and guess. I'm not sure if they're running one train or two. It looks like two. If they're running two trains. This definitely is not a 25-minute wait. Yeah, they're running two trains. This is gonna be a very quick queue without having to use a quick queue. One interesting thing too, still no water fountains. Even though at both Disney and Universal, obviously those are other companies, but at those places, they seem to be more COVID crazy, yet you can use the water fountain there. You get free water anywhere there's a fountain anyway, but anywhere there's a soda fountain. Just interesting that is closed. High blood pressure, heart conditions, neck or back problems, or side note, I do think that SeaWorld does a really good job at naming their rides. And they have Kraken, which is basically a mythical squid, and this one twists and turns like a squid. They have Manta, which to me it feels like flying, but maybe it's like swimming under the sea like a manta ray. They got Mako, which is a killer whale, which what better way to describe the best coaster in the world other than with one of the meanest animals in the entire animal kingdom. One of the largest, one of the fastest. So I think they do a fantastic job at naming. You got Atlantis. That one's even themed, self-explanatory. The new one's called Icebreaker. I'm not as big on that, but it certainly beats, you know, Hagrid's motorbike mythical creatures adventure. I mean, it's Hagrid's. When you have to shorten the name of an attraction, it doesn't have a good attraction name. Here, they're all just one or two words and easy to say, and they all make sense. So I'm a fan. It is absolutely huge. If you've never been here, it is so much bigger than most Six Flags or Cedar Fair parks. I guess it's double the size of Cedar Point. I'd have to look it up. Now, attractions are spread apart. It's not like somewhere like Six Flags usually are, or Cedar Point is, where it's coaster, 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 coaster every, 5 feet. Here you walk through an entire area and have one ride. I'm going into Antarctica. They only have one ride, and it has been closed for the entire pandemic. I'm okay with it, because now you can wait in line just to see the penguins, and there really are zero redeeming qualities of the Antarctica ride. It's a trackless ride, and there's like a mild and a wild side. I've only been on the wild side. I only did it once, and it was absolutely awful. They may or may not even bring it back. I have it ranked last out of every dark ride I've ever been on. The only reason I would ride it is if that is the only way to get to the penguins. Right now it says 25 minutes to get to the penguins, so I'm not waiting in a cold building for 25 minutes to see penguins, although I do love penguins. It's really cool when they have their behind the scenes on the penguins, and you can actually go right up to them, and you're literally close enough to touch them. Obviously you can't, or shouldn't, but so Antarctica's an area that looks cooler than it is. I wish they would do something with that ride. It's a big enough ride, and there's space to do something cool, especially since trackless technology has come a very long way since then, a la Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. But so now I'm just gonna find some food and relax for the rest of my night. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any suggestions on what I should do better, other than get something to stabilize the camera, I already know that. I did this completely spontaneously today. Like I said, I was gonna wait until masks came off, but unfortunately, they're still very required. But I just thought it would be cool to start when they're test running Icebreaker. Get you some footage of that for all like 5 people who watch this. But hopefully we can grow and have a lot of fun.